Good Mom and Monday. You're here with the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts.
This week we are going to be talking about our nighttime routines. That's a hard one for me.
Nighttime routines in general are?
Yeah, we don't really have a good routine.
Right, because last week we talked about morning routines, and you have a structured morning routine. I don't.
Yeah.
And so that's why we flip.
Yes.
Whereas my nighttime routine is very structured.
Right. And I kind of wish mine was, but right now that's not
a thing.
That's not it.
All right. All right. First, wins, fails, books.
Wins, fails, books. My win is yesterday.
Okay.
I did good yesterday.
That's good.
I woke up and I just had like a cleaning bug. So I mopped my kitchen, I cleaned my chairs, I did 2 loads of laundry and put them away. I know.
That's like
magic.
Way extra. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I just felt like I was like, go. And I love when I get in those moods because then the house is clean.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I need to fall into one of those moods when I'm not hurting.
Yeah.
My win and my fail are related to yesterday. So my win, I guess. I had surgery yesterday. Minor surgery. I didn't get knocked out or anything. I just had like a little mass on my shoulder. About, I don't know.
Like a dime, nickel?
I'd say a nickel.
Okay.
Size of a nickel-ish. And so they pulled it out. And so that's great that that's out now.
That's the win.
That's the win.
It's gone.
The fail, however, is that my entire shoulder is so tight because I have some real tight skin on my shoulder. Granted, when they sutured me back up, they said that it came together nicely and it wasn't too tight. But I can't move my arm very much, or else it's pulling on it. So my entire arm, because this is like right on my shoulder blade, my entire arm, and even my neck. Like I can't look at you any further than this without feeling it get tight. I can't look down much more than like here, which is fine. I can see most of down.
I guess you don't think about like how much things stretch.
Yeah. Sleeping last night was the absolute worst because I couldn't lay on my back, obviously. Couldn't lay on my side because boobs are heavy.
Right.
Couldn't lay on the other side because that's where the surgery is.
That would be awful.
Oh, it sucked. So I've got some time that I gotta be trying to heal. So if I look like I'm struggling a little bit, or you hear me breathing really heavy, it's because I'm kind of really tense right now, trying not to move a ton. Yeah. But I'm glad that it's out. It was causing me some discomfort. Like anytime I would sleep on it, I would wake up and it would be super sore. I may be sore if I wore a bra because it's like right under where my bra line was.
Right.
Which is the worst. And so can't wear a bra right now either because, I have a giant pad.
I just hope it heals fast for you.
And it came out really clean. So they said that it's, even if something were to come back weird, they said it's unlikely that they would need to go back in because they have clean margins.
That's good.
Which was good.
Good.
Very, very happy about that. But it was really funny when I was talking to the doctor. He was like, yeah, so I think it's a, sebaceous cyst. Those tend to get bigger over time. So it's good that we're taking it out now. He's like, do you know what that is? And I was like, I watched Dr. Pimple Popper. I know exactly what this is. He's like, good. Okay. So yeah, we're pretty much going to be doing the same thing, except I'm not going to squeeze it out. We're just going to remove the whole thing and we'll send it off to pathology.
You're like, are you sure you don't want to make a video?
The guy was a little bit awkward. Oh. And so yeah, there was a student in there. She was super cool, though. Yeah. She gave me a little stress ball.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to show you what it looks like. I don't have it with me, but I have a picture of it because I sent it to Thomas. And she's like, here, have this stress ball, which I never have ever seen somebody pull a stress ball. Those are just things out of sterile packaging. She put gloves on and had to open it, and I had to grab it out of the package.
Probably because it was a surgery.
I think
would be my guess. So
I
they
just
don't
found
want
that it was weird.
Because I guess if everybody's touching it, then you have germs in the air. And if you were to like...
Yeah. But I mean, just individual packaging, sure.
Yeah, that's
but this
interesting.
was like, I would have imagined gauze coming out of this type of packaging.
Because they have those machines at the hospital. Like they can sterilize and put them in the packaging and it seals it.
Yep. I got to take it home. I have it at home now.
That's cool.
It has like little, is it Orbeez looking things inside of it?
Oh, okay. Like little
the water
beads.
balls. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's definitely out of reach of the children.
I was going to say, don't pop that.
No. It is up high. Kids cannot touch it. But yeah. It was nice to play with.
Yeah. Those are fun.
It was very fun.
Until they break.
Yeah. And then it's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my win, my fail. You said you have a fail that I want to hear. I don't know if I want to hear it, though.
I don't want to rehear it. It's terrifying. So it was probably like 10:30, 2-3 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
My cat goes outside. My husband's holding Quincy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting on the couch. Like I said, it's like 10:30-ish. Getting ready to go to bed. She comes in.
She is in the cat?
As the cat.
Okay. Cats bring in things.
She has a snake in her mouth.
Like alive?
Yes. And one of my biggest fears
was it just the gardener
snakes.
snake?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
But I don't care.
I don't like snakes either.
Snakes are just not my jam. I wish they were, but I have a really irrational fear of snakes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not necessarily irrational. Snakes can be dangerous.
They can be.
But I guess gardener snakes.
But it doesn't matter. For me, literally, like watching a snake slither is just like, I can't.
So it's
like nails on a chalkboard.
Got you. Interesting.
Yeah. So she brings it in, and I immediately look to Michael, and I'm like, give me my daughter right now. And he was like, what? And I was like, give me Quincy. The cat has a snake in her mouth. And he's like, what? And so he hands her to me, and then she proceeds to place it in the middle of the living room on the carpet. Just plopped. And then I was just looking at it. Thankfully, I think the snake was in shock because it just immediately just coiled up and was just right there.
It's like, oh my God.
And I was like, get it out, get it out, get it out. And I'm just holding her like on the couch, just like, please don't move, please don't move. And we have a mirror in my living room. So from the couch, I can see in the mirror right where it's at. And Michael's like, just keep your eyes on the snake. And he's like trying to figure out, how do I grab this thing? Because he didn't want to just grab it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you can safely grab gardener snakes.
You can. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like snakes either.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that like he should have just grabbed it.
Right. I was about 2 seconds from saying, just pick it up. Because he was like looking everywhere for just something. And then finally, he grabbed the pooper scooper.
That poor snake.
Yeah. And he picked it up, and I was like, make sure you have it because it's dark in the living room where, we're going to sleep. And he's like looking at the light, and he picks it up, and he's like, yep, it's there. And I was just like, get it out of my house. And he like goes to go out back, and he's like, wait, I don't want it out there because then it's going to be out there. So then he goes to the front, and he disposes of it in the yard, I think.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was so... And then everything that was going through my head was like, has she done this before? Is there a snake in my house currently that like got away? Is there a mouse in my... Like, so her privileges of outdoor time are... Suspended until further notice. I was so disappointed. I've raved about my cat. Like, my cat doesn't bring anything in. Occasionally she'll bring in a moth.
And then today she did. Or yesterday.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
I
can't English.
It's sorry. Okay.
Not even English, just comprehend. With comprehension not here.
Yeah. That was my fail.
That is like funny, but not funny.
Fail, but my fail too, I guess.
It's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Now I can laugh about it, but in the moment I was like, oh my God.
I don't like snakes. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that I have like a super big fear of them, more so just like, because I've been within a couple of feet of a rattlesnake. Mm-hmm. And just like quickly walked away. But that's kind of the extent of it. I also didn't know where the rattlesnake was. I just kind of heard it. Actually, I heard several of them because...
Oh, where were you?
So where we lived in Montana, actually in a lot of places in Montana, if you've been to Montana, you might know a lot of the towns, like it's a very hilly state if you're looking at the western side of it. There's a lot of like mountains and hills and stuff. A lot of the towns and cities will put the first letter of the town name on the side of the mountain.
Oh, okay.
So the one that we had, town started with an H, so we called it the H Hill, and it had a big painted rock H on it. And it's a nice little hike up there.
Oh, okay.
It's very rocky or whatever. But there's rattlesnakes. Oh. I went up there with one of Thomas's sisters and our dog at the time. And I just followed the dog because I was like, she's going to be smart, but we could hear the rattlesnakes, the rattle.
That's so scary.
As soon as we heard hissing, we were like, okay, we're a little too close. And I was watching the dog, and I was like, all right, Rosie, I trust you. And I would just follow her very carefully, stepping where she stepped, because dogs are smart.
Right.
And so we got down, no issues, but we heard him, and it was creepy. Very, like, kind of that imminent danger feel. Mm-hmm. His sister didn't give two shits, but I mean, she's also
used to it.
Right. Because she'd lived there long time.
Right. I don't know where my fear came from, because I remember always having the fear, but I do remember when I was very young going to my grandpa. He had like I guess it was a farm. I don't know. He had quite a bit of property. And my cousin and I started to go for a walk in the field, like we always do. And we took a couple steps, like gravel and then field. And we took a couple steps into the field, and probably like 20 or more like baby snakes, like we must have hit like the nest or something, just slithered everywhere. Like so many went over my feet. We were in like flip-flops. Okay. So, I mean, that probably furthered my fear. Yeah.
See, I'm that way with spiders.
Right.
I can't do spiders. So like when you have your spider friend in your bathroom and I saw it that one day above the trash can, I was like, maybe you have a spider in there. And you're like, oh yeah, sometimes he just is there. You just leave him alone. And I'm like, how do you sleep? And that one day we saw that one crawling on the bag, and you just pushed the bag away. I'm sitting here like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm that way with spiders, and you're so chill about it.
If they were both like daddy long leg spiders,
which technically aren't spiders.
Right.
Daddy long legs don't bother me as much, but it's the creep factor.
Right. Okay, so that's kind of how I am with snakes.
Yeah, because like certain spiders I fear.
Right.
Other ones, it's the creep factor.
If they're like the big scary ones, like could potentially be poisonous kinds, yeah, those aren't my friends. They are out of my home.
There's only one type of spider that I've ever been like, oh, it's a spider, and it's the little jumping spiders.
Oh, see, and I don't like those ones because they jump.
Are so cute.
They are very cute, but they jump.
And they can be friendly if they get to know you.
Yes. I like little tiny baby spiders, like actual baby spiders.
Oh, I don't. Let me tell you why. So one time, it was when I was at daycare when I was really young. There was a little spider nest on the side of like this little fence thing.
Different story.
Somebody, I didn't know what it was. Somebody dared me to poke it. So I poked it. Oh no. Imagine I don't know, 6-year-old me saw that day. A million spiders because when I touched it, they immediately went onto my hand, and I remember freaking out. And then they all did their web thing where they, then they fly.
That would be pretty terrifying.
I think that's where the I can't do spiders came from.
I can understand that. That's how I feel about snakes. It's literally like if we're out back and we see a snake, I'm like, Kate, we're in the house for the rest of the day.
See, I'm that way with spiders. I see a spider. There's been a couple little house spiders that we get here. They're not really dangerous, little really dark brown ones that are like,
right, that big.
I see one and I'm just like, okay. I'm avoiding that room for the rest of the day. I don't care if it's my bathroom. I will hold it in.
I will use the outdoors. Just kidding.
I mean, I have 2 bathrooms, so
right,
works, but still.
I just remember telling Michael, I was like, if you weren't home when that snake was dropped off into the living room, or like, had I gone to bed and he not seen her bring it in, like so many things could have happened. And I'm just not okay with it.
Fair.
Michael said we have a 2 snake rule. You bring in one more snake, you're out. Ziva. We wouldn't actually get rid of her, but I might consider it.
So I guess that story is kind of a good word.
Transition?
There was a specific word. Segue.
That's the word. Yes.
Segue into nighttime routine because you guys were going to bed.
Yes.
In the living room.
Yes.
I know kind of how you're thinking, but tell the world.
Tell the world how I go to bed. Okay.
Your lack of a nighttime routine.
Yeah. So as I've mentioned on here before, we hate dinner. We don't hate eating it, but we hate making it.
You and I are so opposite.
We hate
with our day.
Oh my gosh.
See, like, if we would If we combined our days, you handled mornings and I handled evenings, we would have the most structured day.
Literally. Because, I mean, afternoons, I feel like we're both like, it's fine.
And see,
it's
that's
whatever.
not me.
Yeah.
My mornings are so chill, and then it's my afternoons that are very structured.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not looking forward to this afternoon.
I believe that.
Yeah. Anyways, your nighttime routine.
So yeah, we don't like making dinner. We don't like deciding dinner. It's like it's the question of the evening. What are we having for dinner? Both of us hate it. Both of us, meaning Michael and I. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we don't eat till like 7:30, 8 o'clock, because we just don't want to. Mm-hmm. And Maverick also just doesn't fall asleep really easy. Mm-hmm. He never when I nursed him, he would fall asleep faster because he would just nurse to sleep. But since he stopped, it's kind of hard. So he doesn't go to sleep till like 10 or later, which I think
That's my son.
We push back on that. And I think we both get frustrated because then Maverick's frustrated because he's like, I always go to bed this late. And we're frustrated because we're like, you always go to bed this late.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we need to both work on just kind of letting it go and just understand that this is our nighttime routine. Mm-hmm.
We did a casual work back.
Yeah.
Of about 15 minutes. We
have tried that, but I think it's a fail on our part where we just then get stuck in like it's dinner. Dinner's the problem.
Yeah.
Because if we don't have dinner planned and like ready on the days that I'll have like something planned, and it's usually like a crock pot day. Mm-hmm. Where I'm on it, and then dinner's ready by like 5:36. Then usually we can get him to bed at like 9. Mm-hmm. But still, it's 9 o'clock. Like, it's still pretty late.
Yeah, we try to have the kids in bed by 9.
Okay.
No matter what time we have dinner. If we have dinner at 8:30, still immediately to bed. Okay. If we have dinner at 6, then they get time to play afterwards.
See, and it's not necessarily that we like. The other thing is he falls asleep with us in the living room. He won't fall asleep with us in the bed. He used to. Which is his own problem. We just have a nighttime catastrophe. We have tried, and there's been a few times, I think I even mentioned on here, where he was starting to sleep in his own room, and Michael would lay down with him, and then he would go to sleep. Well, I think it was happening a little too well for him. And so then he would just fight it really, really hard. And it would be hours and hours and hours, and then we're like, okay, let's just go back to how it was because it was easier.
It was like that with Anna. When Anna first transitioned to her room, it was you put her down at 9 and you're in there till sometimes 1 a.m.
Yeah. Because
she would not be okay with us leaving. I mean, the months paid off, but it's brutal. Granted, the way that we did it is we would just, if we fell asleep in there, we fell asleep in there.
Right.
And at that time, it was me who did that because we didn't have any other kids.
Right.
You know, it was when I got pregnant with Damon, though, and it progressively got more and more uncomfortable, that we started being like, okay, I'll be in here for a certain amount of time, but then I'm going to leave. I need you to try to stay. Granted, when they're like, she was 2.5.
Right.
They're not quite old enough to be able to comprehend all of that.
Yeah. And I've thought about getting like a baby gate for his room. Mm-hmm. And then I know some people do like I don't know, I think there's a word for it, but where you essentially, they just have to be in their room with the lights off. They can have like a night light.
Yeah.
But if they get up and like play with some of their toys, it's fine, but they're in their room. It's like bedtime.
I think there is a word for that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've thought about doing that, but he panics at night sometimes.
Mm-hmm. We tried to do that with Anna. We were like, you just need to be in here. If you want to play. If you want to lay down, mm-hmm. Great. And she just never did. She preferred to lay down. Anna's very chill, though. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Damon, on the other hand, he tries to do that, but Anna and Damon also share a room, so it annoys the shit out of Anna.
Right.
Oh, someday they won't share a room. Someday, when shit's not as expensive, hopefully. Hopefully they won't share a room for forever, but for right now, that's kind of what we got.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, Damon, He's the one who stays up really late trying to play.
Yeah. Maverick, it's like he just fights it. And if he takes any kind of a nap, we're up so
Damon.
late. Yeah. Any kind. Whether it's a 5-minute nap in the car.
Yep. Damon will be up till 3 a.m.
Yes. Like, it's ridiculous. So we try not to let him nap, but when he's playing hard all day, especially right now in the summer.
Yeah.
Sometimes then on the way home from, the park, my mom's, wherever we're at, it's inevitable. We're like, Maverick, stay awake. And
yep. Ellie's like that too. If she takes a nap after like 4 o'clock, I have to keep her awake.
Ugh.
And sometimes that girl's like falling asleep and I'm like, no, wake up.
Quincy's finally starting to switch into like a scheduled nap. She's finally in that rotation where there's like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then sometimes in the evening. Sometimes she'll just go to bed a little earlier.
That's a lot of naps.
That's a lot of naps.
How old is she?
8 months yesterday.
I feel like Ellie was already down to 1 at that point. All my kids.
Nope.
Quincy's a sleeper.
Quincy's a napper.
Okay.
Yep.
I wish I could be that way.
I'm all for it. I think Maverick was a 2-time. Well, no, I think at this point he was still taking quite a bit of naps. But remember, he only took like 10-minute, 15-minute naps.
Right.
Quincy does take longer naps. She'll take like half an hour to an hour probably.
Got you.
But
okay. And see, my kids have always been when they do transition in their naps, they are long naps.
Right, yeah.
And so Ellie's are sometimes 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Starting at like noon.
Honestly, that would be kind of nice.
It is so nice because I can get a lot done during that time.
Yeah, exactly. So. Mine, especially Quincy. Maverick, at this point, I was able to lay down. Still, he wouldn't take that long of a nap. But I was able to lay him down. Quincy, it's like, you lay her down, she's awake in 4 minutes.
Ellie's that way sometimes.
Ugh.
All right, so as far as nighttime routines go.
Yes.
You were saying that you tried to get him to be in his own room and stuff, and it just wasn't working.
Right.
So you guys then camp out in the living room?
Usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll lay down in the bed. But I'll usually put something on that I want to watch that's not too exciting. And then we just kind of lay there until he falls asleep. That's the best way to get him to sleep. Every other way that we try, it's just a fight. If we lay in complete silence, it's just a fight. If we now lay in his bed, it's a fight.
What's your plan for as he gets older? Or is this kind of play it by ear till then?
Good question, Kaylee. I don't know. This is like the one thing that I'm like, I guess this is just the way it is. I think we'll keep trying things, but I don't know because he's my wild card.
Interesting. See, Damon has always, like, as soon as we transitioned him to his bed, easy.
I wish.
We just sat with him for a little bit.
And do you think it helped that he had Anna in there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, because, like, Anna, her transition was really hard. She didn't like being alone. Damon's not alone,
right.
you know? I wonder if whenever we do get into a place where he can have his own room, if that's going to affect how both of them sleep, because Anna sleeps very well in her room. Very well.
Right.
All the way through the night. Her nighttime good nights are very quick now. We have a very structured, I'll get into that in just a second, structured whatever it is that we do, but it's not like I need to spend an hour with her
right.
when she was a little bit younger. Granted, she's a couple years older now.
Yeah.
And Damon's is, same thing, very structured routine. If he doesn't have his routine, then it's a problem. But,
right.
So I don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
I do know that, whenever we do get into a bigger place, we're probably still going to have a bed under hers. It'll just be for Ellie whenever she gets old enough to. And we might have it as like if Damon wants to go in there or if she wants to have Damon in there, and we can, have
right.
that as an option.
Yeah. So how old were your kids when because you co-slept?
Yes.
You've co-slept with all of them. So how old were Anna and Damon when they transitioned to their own?
Both of them 2.5. Okay. Yep. So Anna, we decided for her because it was getting to the point where, I was really pregnant with Damon, and sleeping with her in the bed, we were like, okay, well, whenever Damon comes, she can't be in the bed because we didn't want to take that risk. And so we're like, okay, let's try to get her transitioned. And so we spent, I was about 6 months or pregnant or so when we moved her. And so she wasn't quite 2.5 yet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say she actually had just turned 2 a couple months prior to that. And so we moved her around the time, and she was pretty solidly in her bed very shortly after Damon was born. Right when he was born, she kind of regressed a little bit.
Right.
But then she was pretty solidly in her bed by about 2.5, and like no issues once she turned about 3.
Okay.
And then Damon, we did him sooner, actually. He was closer to 2, and it was right around the time that we had Ellie. So we kind of did the same thing. He transitioned so much easier, though.
Yeah. We transitioned Maverick into, so now we have like a sidecar.
Mm-hmm.
It's his crib, and so it's sidecar to our bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we transitioned him into that so that he got used to sleeping in his own space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have been hoping to transition him into his own room. I think it's just going to be a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And just, we need to be more consistent with it, because I think that's the problem, is Michael and I both are like, it's hard to just see him struggle. And so then the next night we're like, okay, he does 10 times better when he can just come like snuggle with us on the couch.
Yeah.
So
one thing that we did when we were transitioning Anna was we actually started with having her bed in our room.
Mm-hmm.
And we started sitting with her on the floor. We were on the floor and she was in the bed. And so she got used to being in her bed while we were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved her to where her bed was in her room, and we stayed with her until she fell asleep.
Yeah.
And so she still got to have that I'm near you thing, and we had it open to where if she needed to come lay with us, she could.
Mm-hmm.
She just had to lay on Thomas's side.
Right.
And so he would be the one to end up cuddling her so that Damon was in the middle, safe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Actually, I think our bed was up against the wall with like something blocking that dip. So he was, I think, on the other side
Okay.
of me at the time. And before anyone, yes, we bed share. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Yeah, we do too.
I don't need anybody being like, that is so dangerous. Do you know the risks? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I also know the benefits.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's something.
There are so many. Yeah.
I'm like, I've heard it from every single doctor we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Our current doctor is just like, okay.
Right. Yep.
I love that he's just so chill about it.
Me too. We have the same pediatrician for
We
our
do.
kids.
We do. Kind of intentionally. So
Yeah.
I was like, who do you see? And you're like, this person. I'm like, okay.
And I really like him, so.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah.
He's really nice.
Yeah. Right now, I will say for like, once the kids are asleep, we go put Maverick in his little sidecar bed, which we've tried to put him in his own bed from the couch, like transition him into there. He wakes up very quickly.
Do you know why? Is the mattress different?
A little bit, but I think he just, I don't know, because when he was little, he would always just sense when we were away. Like I would lay him down for a nap and he would wake up shortly after. So I don't know if it's that, which again, like I think if we were more consistent with just putting him right back into there, but it's just a whole process.
Gotcha. See, one thing we did different with Damon than with Anna, and I don't know if it made a difference, or because I mean there was a lot of factors that were technically different with him. Obviously he shared the room and whatever. We never put him in a toddler bed though. He had one for like all of 3 minutes, and then we said this isn't working.
Yeah.
And so we took that away, and we actually gave him the same mattress that Anna has, which is a memory foam twin size mattress, and we just put that under her bed, and her bed's a loft bed.
Right.
And it feels very similar to our memory foam bed. And so I wonder,
maybe because the one he has in his room is a twin, and it's a little squishier. Not a whole lot, but it is squishier. So I mean, I guess it could be.
I'm just thinking maybe that could be it. And so like his body's just naturally sensing that it's
different
than, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard. It is. I think that I got really lucky that Damon was on the easier side.
Right.
You know, we'll obviously see how Ellie does whenever that time comes around, although she's quite a bit off from that, you know, about 1.5 years or so until we, I imagine that she'll be transitioning, and hopefully by then.
Right, yeah.
We have the extra room.
Yeah.
Right now we're thinking it'll be Damon in one room and then the girls in the other.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hope that you're able to find a little bit of structure there.
I hope so.
Because one thing I will say that I like about ours is once the kids are in their room, the 2 older ones, and Ellie's asleep, me and Thomas are kind of free to do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm. That's how it was when we just had Maverick, because we would just go lay him in our bed, and then we were hands-free. Quincy, I can't lay her down in our bed because she will wake up.
So when you lay her down, you have to be with her?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
So if I want to spend time with Michael, I have to hold her out in the living room while we, like, converse and whatever, or I can lay her in her little side sleeper that we have out there. But it's very short-lived. It's like max 15 minutes and she's awake.
Could you put, because I know what side sleeper you're talking about, and there's the DockATot thing in there. Could you put that in your bed?
The DockATot in my bed?
And almost trick her?
I could try, but I think, again, it's still 15 minutes out in the living room, so I'm guessing it would be 15 minutes in the bed. You know?
Maybe.
I don't know. Nighttime sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great because then the kids are asleep, so you're not, like, worried about it, but I do miss being hands-free.
Yeah. As far as getting the kids ready for bed, is that mostly, like, you doing it? Is it mostly him doing it? I'm talking, like, teeth brushing, nighttime diapers, jammies, whatever it is.
Usually it's, like, I'll take one, Michael takes one. Is usually how it goes.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah. I mean, Quincy's really easy because hers is just Jamie's diaper milk. Yeah. So I usually take her and Michael takes over for Maverick.
Yeah. We, so let me tell you a little bit about my nighttime routine. So, you know, after dinner or whatever, we, if it's, depending on what time it is, you know, usually around 8:30 is when we're like, okay, time to get ready for bed. We have Anna go grab her vitamins. She'll take her vitamins. And she'll start setting up her toothbrush, and sometimes she'll set up Damon's too. While either me or Thomas will go stuff nighttimes. If you don't know, we cloth diaper. And our nighttime diapers and our daytime diapers are stuffed differently. And so we'll stuff, one of us is stuffing the diapers while the other one starts brushing teeth. Usually Thomas is the one who brushes the teeth.
Okay.
It just kind of became that way. I think it kind of became that way once we had Ellie. Because it was easier for him to just bring me the nighttime diaper stuff. I stuff them while he brushed their teeth, and it just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And then I usually am changing Ellie and getting her jammies on, and then he usually does Damon, lays him down, helps Anna into bed, says goodnight to the two of them, and then he takes Ellie. I go say goodnight to the two older kids. He brings Ellie into the room, starts getting her settled and relaxed. I'm the one that brushes her teeth because she won't open her mouth for him. As soon as she sees me with the toothbrush, she's like, ah. But then with Thomas, she's like,
That's funny. Quincy doesn't like, oh, careful. Quincy doesn't let either of us in her mouth. The second you go to put your finger in her mouth, she's like, which is what she did when she got her tongue and lip tie revised. Right. She's a little stinker.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
When it comes to saying goodnight to the kids, the older ones, I sing a song to each of them. To Anna, it's actually the exact same song that my mom sang to me. It's a kind of revised version of You Are My Sunshine. And so I sing that to Anna. I sing a revised version of the revised version to Damon. I don't want to put it on here, but I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
But so I'll sing my song to her, give her a hug and kiss goodnight, say, love you, sweet dreams, goodnight, see you in the morning, whatever. She turns on her fan. Do you remember the pink fan that I got her for her?
Yes.
She's obsessed with that thing. Tuck her in, she turns on her fan. Sometimes I'll watch a movie before bed. And then I'll go under the bed. Sing Damon his song, give him a big, right now they're birthday hugs and kisses because he's still obsessed with his birthday.
Oh, that's cute.
So he'll be like, big birthday hug, big birthday kiss. And I'm like, okay, it's not your birthday, but it's okay.
That's cute.
And then I'll sing him his revised song. And then he still nurses. Okay. It's the only time he nurses is at bedtime. Yep. He'll nurse for a little bit while Dad has Ellie. Sometimes she'll just fall asleep in his arms.
Okay.
If not, and she starts crying, that's my cue to be like, all right.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Wrap it up.
Fair.
He's kind of transitioning out of milk, though. So, for him, it's, not the end of the world if I have to leave early.
Right.
But sometimes he'll He'll do me a favor by draining one of them.
Yeah. Help you out there.
Yep. And then if Ellie's asleep when I go in there, then I get to just get myself ready for bed, brush my teeth, get my jammies on, whatever it is that I need to do. If I need to take a shower. Because I'm a nighttime shower person.
Right, yeah.
You're morning, right? Or are you nighttime?
Depends.
See, yeah. I prefer my night times.
Right.
Usually mentioned that last week.
Usually if it's a morning shower, it's a body shower. If I'm doing a night shower, it's because I need to wash my hair.
Yep.
Which I didn't do.
And then if she is awake, usually she's doing the you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The like, I'm crying, but I'm also really happy to see you.
Yeah. I'm overwhelmed.
Yes. That girl gets overwhelmed so easily.
Mm-hmm.
She has like, I don't know if it's sensory issues or what, but she'll like hide her face a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like, I need to take a second. I can't keep looking at you type.
Yeah. I need to cut off all sensory.
I think that's why she like...
Yeah.
And then you smile at her again. She's like, I can't.
She's like, I can't do it. Please stop. Yeah, I have noticed that.
Yeah, and so like, I think she gets that overwhelm, and then she's like, I don't know how to handle this emotion.
Hide.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I'll brush her teeth, take her, nurse her. She falls asleep. She's been having a very fun time deciding that she doesn't want to stay asleep, though. Last night, thank God, she just stayed asleep. I don't know if I would have been able to handle her, because when she wakes up, she crawls around everywhere and just wants to climb and shit.
Oh, yeah.
The other night, she was up past midnight and hadn't even taken her first bit of sleep yet.
Oh,
and
no.
Thomas needed to work the next day, so I have to deal with it.
Right.
And she's just climbing all over the place.
Oh.
She'll like... we live in an apartment, so like we have next door neighbors and stuff. She like pulled herself up onto the headboard and then was headbutting the wall.
Oh no.
Just lightly, but like enough to gotta be annoying.
Probably
and also,
can hear it. Yeah.
The next door neighbors probably were thinking we were doing something completely different.
Oh, probably.
And so I like, Ellie, stop, pull her down. And then she'd get angry that I pulled her down and just lay there all offended.
Yeah.
And usually during that time, I'm like watching a show for myself. I'm just like,
yeah.
do your fucking thing, man.
Just do what you gotta do. Thankfully, when both of my kids wake up, they just lay there. They're just awake. Sometimes they'll kind of roll around just a tiny bit, but they never like actually get up and are awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Ellie's the only one of my kids who's done this.
Oh, okay.
And I don't like it. I'm just glad last night she didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gotta be hard.
Because I already had the hardest time nursing her last night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially because Damon used this one, so I had to nurse her on this one.
So you had to do the reach around?
I couldn't. It hurt.
Oh.
Because it's heavy. Then that would still stretch. It pulls on that skin.
That's true.
And so I had to do the lay back on my back thing, and she had to just kind of sit up.
Yep. You're like, sorry, you gotta work for it tonight.
Yep.
That's funny.
Oh, it was just a pain in the butt. But I'm just glad that once she fell asleep, she was done. I was like, oh,
and then, so when she's asleep, she's just in your guys' bed?
Yep. She usually sleeps in the middle. Our bed is kind of in the middle of the floor, so she has to sleep in the middle.
Right.
We do have a body pillow on my side of the bed. Mm-hmm. That is, it's not, I don't know if I'd say it's heavy. It's not heavy. It's like a almost beanbaggy type, whatever. But she is she's very touch sensitive to things. And so if she touches something, she stops.
Oh, okay.
And so I can put her on the other side. I don't like to, though. It makes me nervous. So we usually just leave her in the middle. Mm-hmm. And me and Thomas are both, we have a king bed, so there's quite a bit of space and stuff.
I think that's another reason why I'm nervous to let Quincy just sleep in our bed, because that girl has no fear. And she will just straight crawl off of something.
That was Anna. Anna was my one. I would wake up and she'd be laying upside down at the end of the bed at like a year and a half old.
You're like, what are you doing?
Yep. Anna was always like, we'd wake up and she'd be completely sideways. I'm like, what are you doing?
See, in Maverick, 90% of the time is in basically the same spot that you lay him.
See, Damon was like that too. And Damon was a tummy sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, with Anna, we had like a memory from Topper on our bed. With Ellie, we have a memory from Topper. But with Damon, we didn't. Partially because he slept on his tummy and we didn't feel safe doing that. Mm-hmm. So yeah. He just stayed on his tummy.
Yeah.
He's always been a tummy sleeper. Even now,
Yeah.
he wakes up and he's on his tummy.
Yeah, Maverick's usually a tummy sleeper now.
Yeah. Remember, Damon's been a tummy sleeper since like day one.
Yep, I do remember that.
And it's, oh God, it always scared the
Terrifying.
crap out of me.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, Maverick wasn't before. He was always a side sleeper, though. He had to sleep on his side.
Ellie is kind of a side sleeper, too. Yep.
Quincy's,
If she lets go, she rolls over onto her other side.
Quincy's kind of a wherever sleeper.
So Anna.
She will sleep on her side, on her back, on her tummy.
Anna.
She's everywhere.
Yep.
But she stays right. Like, she doesn't move a whole lot in her sleep as far as, like, getting up and crawling around or whatever. But it's either I find her on her side or her back or her tummy. So it's like she just kind of does one roll.
So last question before we end it.
Okay.
How different is your nighttime routine now with kids than it was prior to having kids?
Wildly different.
Same.
Wildly different. Michael still does stay up super late, but we used to both stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning.
I think I remember you telling me that, yeah.
Michael,
and you guys kind of kept doing that up until relatively recently, though, didn't you?
Well, no, when we had Maverick, I stopped. Well, okay. When I was pregnant with Maverick, towards the end, I was so exhausted that I just couldn't do it anymore. So I would stay up till like 11 or midnight at the very latest. Then the first probably year of Maverick's life, I went to bed between 9 and maybe 11. And then when he was able to just sleep in our bed and he wouldn't wake up and I could just leave him,
then it was like 1 a.m.
Then it was like 1 a.m. would probably be the latest.
Okay.
Then we cycled again with Quincy. So now I stay up till probably about like sometimes midnight, but usually 10:30, 11 is usually where I'm at.
Okay.
But Michael still stays up relatively late every night, meaning like 2, 3 in the morning.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How does he have the energy for that?
I don't know, because he wakes up when the kids wake up or earlier. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Some nights I think it catches up with him because then he'll fall asleep. It'll be like 9 o'clock and he's fallen asleep on the couch. And I'm like, you need to go to bed early tonight.
Yep.
It's one of those nights. So, but yeah, our nights before, we also used to be like, we wouldn't do it all the time, but that's like one thing that both of us really miss is every once in a while we would both get like this, I don't know, I don't want to say hunger because that sounds weird, but it is because I'm hungry. At like 1 a.m. we would go get food.
Okay.
I was just trying to find a word that didn't sound weird. Like we would get this hunger, you know?
Yeah.
And we would go get like whatever was open super late.
Is there anything around here that's open super late?
Sherry's and Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
McDonald's used to be. Walmart used to be 24/7.
In Kalispell, back when we lived up there was one restaurant that stayed open 24/7.
Oh, really?
One. And it was like a 15-minute drive from where we lived. Which, I mean, isn't bad, but it's not great.
Right. We would also sometimes go to Applebee's because they're open till like 1, I think, in the morning.
1.
And so we would go at like 11 o'clock at night. And we would just drive there. We went to the bar a couple times, but we weren't really bar people. We were like food.
Yeah.
Food in the middle of the night.
As far as like before for us, granted, there wasn't a long time for there to be a before.
Right.
It was like in last week's, there wasn't a long time for there to be a, morning time either.
Yeah.
Our schedules were just so different.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really anything consistent. And when we were maybe 11 midnight.
Yeah.
It's probably about as late as we did. And we kind of just got ourselves ready. Wasn't anything special.
Right. Yeah, it was different for us.
It's interesting how different kids can make your life, whereas other things don't seem to change at all. And then it's also really interesting to see how some people's lives are so different.
Yeah.
From both from your own, but then also like if you're comparing their before and after.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's wild.
Nighttime routines.
Nighttime routines. Still working on ours. We don't have a good solid one. We have a floozy, floppy.
Yeah, paper
in the wind.
I'm very grateful that ours is as structured as it is, and that is 100% to do with Thomas. After we had Ellie, or before we had Ellie, it was still a little chaotic. After we had Ellie, though, and Thomas kind of just took it on himself, he's the one who generated that routine, and we have stuck with it since.
Yeah. We need to, I think it's because we have always been so lax with our night routine before we had kids that now once we have kids, we are very lax with theirs.
That makes sense.
And I think if we were on a stricter schedule, then we probably could have an easier time. But it's hard when we don't feel that need to do that until it's like 11 o'clock and the kids still aren't asleep.
Yeah.
Then we're like, oh, okay, we should probably do something about this.
That makes sense.
But
it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting, too, to kind of see how things develop as your kids get older. I don't necessarily foresee our routine changing very much, especially because it works really, really well, and it works in a way that could easily be adapted to include more children.
Right.
That's where I look at yours and I'm like, oh man.
I know.
Because as soon as you add a third into that, you've got a little bit of a problem.
I have a pile. Yeah. I think the other thing too is Thomas has to get up really early for work.
Yes, he right now his shift starts at 5:30 in the morning, so he's waking up at like 3:34.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those people that has a really slow start.
Right.
He takes a long time to wake up. Me, not so much. I could wake up an hour before my thing, and I can get there, get ready, and I'm wide awake.
Right.
Him, not so much.
Yeah. Michael is lax on his time because he works for family right now. So he's a little bit more lax on when he needs to get there, when he needs to wake up. So I think that, I mean, it helps for what we have, but it doesn't help for making a routine because we're lax on our time.
Such a privilege. I hope that he enjoys it.
I know. He does. He does.
It's one of those things that, like, I bet you he doesn't value it as much as he's going to when and if it someday has to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
He's probably going to be like, oh, man, I should have savored that. Not having to start till 1
days
p.m.
That he does need to get up early because something's going on that he has to get there early for. He's like, I miss the kids. I miss having breakfast with them. Like, I wish I was home with you guys. Because typically he's able to have breakfast with us. And then, you know, we get the kids ready for the morning and then he takes off. So he has that morning time with them. But on the days that he doesn't, like yesterday, he wasn't able to. And he's like, I want to come home.
Oh.
So I think he does. He understands that he has that privilege. I just think when it's like day after day after day, he's like, well, this is just my life, you know? So
Interesting, though.
Yeah. If you guys have any tips for getting your nighttime routine on schedule, I think it has to just do with me needing to be more strict. But if you have any tips, send them my way. Cause
I think she needs them.
I'll take them. I'll try anything.
Yep. If you're struggling with yours, do let us know in the comments. Interested to see kind of what yours looks like compared to ours.
Yeah. Kaylee may have more advice on the nighttime routine than I do.
And just like you got more advice on the morning, we got to take tips from each other there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yep.
But yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend so they can hear my chaotic night. Don't let your cat bring a snake in the house.
Oh, God.
And
don't get surgery on your shoulder. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's uncomfy.
And we hope you guys have a good week, and we will see you on the next one.